Alright, everybody. We'll call this time to say something funny. What a dumb idea to throw marshmallows out of a helicopter, not wrapped. They couldn't afford a wrapped marshmallow. And if you're going to throw it out onto the ground, onto the grass, you're going to get people sick. There could be anything on those ground, anything out there. So, my idea is I'm going to get some marshmallows and then get in a helicopter and look like some sort of fairy popping out marshmallows out of a helicopter. And because we live in Detroit, we're pretty broke here, we got to go low budget. But we won't think about the consequences or the suing that can happen. Maybe that's why we got problems here in Detroit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in a helicopter, I'm going to make it look good, and I'm going to throw out some pretty big size marshmallows, not the average ones, out of a helicopter. And all these kids are going to come in, they're going to eat them. And some of them might get sick, or they might not. Because you might just have some scammers that say that they did and blame your marshmallows as you were throwing them all over the ground. Now, we know the 2-second rule. Mythbusters taught us all about it if you want to watch that show, about when you drop things on the ground, right? Now, you're taking the big risk of how many germs are already out there, so you know all that, right? And so, if it's dry, it's not too bad. You got a good chance, more likely out of 100 of them, that maybe only 10 or 1 could get infected. But it's a chance still there. That number's there. Mythbusters will show you, right? And they test bugs and test things afterwards to see. But if it's a wet thing, so the more moisture it has, the more likely it'll get these bugs really easy, just hit the ground. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, as soon as it hits the ground, it is contaminated, if it's a contaminated ground. And if it's dry, you might get lucky, right? So you can leave it there as long as you want, then pick it up when you're ready, as long as it doesn't move around, right? It's more likely it's going to still have the same amount of bugs on it, right? Probably not too much of a difference. They didn't test it that far, but I'll just say that. And if it's wet, don't bother touching it. If it's got some moisture, because it's going to have a lot of those bugs it captures, and they love it in there, and they'll thrive in it too, as they can't thrive in the desert, you see. So throwing marshmallows out, I'm sorry, mate, is just the dumbest thing ever, right? Now, I could have made it more funnier, so I'm meet you in the middle, right? Because I see that you're trying to do a good thing, right? But that was not thinking at all. They should have been wrapped candy. And if you can't afford wrapped candy, you should have did another different idea to have the kids be happy. Because it's a good idea. The kids around it, they were happy. But hopefully they don't get sick eating the marshmallows. If they were going to burn them on a fire, cook them. Then more than likely they might not get sick. That might help them a little bit, but the chances are there, as most buggers don't like too much heat, and they're more likely to be on the outer layer, and so most of them would be burnt to a crisp. Right? And so the marshmallow would be a little bit more healthier to eat if it was fire cooked. But other than that, not a good idea. They didn't mention about a barbecue afterwards, right? With a fire to cook them. So hopefully it goes good. That you might get lucky, but you also might have scammers, if you do get lucky, that might want to jump in and use a food poisoning moment, as the more that kids are there, the more likely they can get food poisoning naturally. So you got to watch that at home somewhere, and they might do sue because they've got an opportunity. So think about things. Have a good one, everybody, and bye-bye. And make sure when you give out candy that it's wrapped candy.